It was supposed to be a routine evening UA formal education summit in Washington, D.C., where political figures, educators, and advocates had gathered to discuss America's future. But as the crowd buzzed with polite conversation and camera flashes, no one could have predicted the storm that was about to unfold on stage. Senator John Kennedy, known for his Southern wit and unapologetically direct manner, sat quietly in his seat as First Lady Jill Biden stepped up to the podium. Her polished voice filled the hall as she addressed policy gaps and missteps from both parties. It was her subtle jabs that began to catch attention-veiled criticisms, dressed in polite language, all while her eyes seemed to flicker toward the Louisiana senator. Then it happened. Without naming him directly at first, Jill's tone shifted. She spoke of a certain senator from the South who seems to think folksy humor can replace policy. The audience tensed. She pressed further, laughing lightly. "We can't build classrooms with sarcasm, Senator Kennedy. And students don't need punchlines, they need progress." A few chuckles rolled through the crowd, but they were uneasy. The jab had clearly landed. All eyes turned to Kennedy. He didn't move right away. He just looked at her, calm and composed, tapping his fingers on the side of his chair. Then, slowly, he stood up. The room silenced like a curtain had fallen on the air. No notes, no podium. Just the microphone and a steely, steady gaze. Dr. Biden, he said gently. "If brains were leather, you wouldn't have enough to saddle." A Junebug gasps rippled through the auditorium. Even some of the First Lady's allies widened their eyes in shock. But what came next wasn't laughter or jeering, it was something far more powerful. It was reflection. Because Kennedy didn't stop there. "I came here to talk about students," he continued, "not to trade insults. But if we're going to start dressing up arrogance as intelligence, let's at least be honest about what's happening. I've met teachers from Baton Rouge to Baltimore who care more about kids than the politicians who speak for them. And they don't need lectures from ivory towers. They need support, respect, and people who listen before they speak." A deep silence followed. Jill Biden's expression flickered, the smile gone from her lips. Kennedy's words weren't cruel, they were real, and they carried something Washington hadn't seen in a long time. Conviction rooted in humility. The next day. Headlines exploded. Kennedy silences First Lady with a single line and a speech. That stirs America. A senator Southern. Wisdom echoes across the nation. On social media. Clips of the moment went viral. Students posted, "He's speaking for us." Teachers wrote, "That man sees us." Even some critics of Kennedy were forced to admit wasn't just a clapback. It was a call to action. In the days that followed, Kennedy doubled down not on the insult, but on the message. He launched a bipartisan bill to increase funding for rural schools and teacher mentorship programs. The same educators Jill had mentioned began showing up on Capitol Hill not to defend her, but to support his plan. Meanwhile, Jill Biden released a statement a week later. It was not defensive. In fact, it was surprisingly candid. "While my words were meant to challenge, Senator Kennedy reminded me and perhaps all of us that sometimes the best challenge is one that comes not with noise, but with truth." She wrote. That rare humility, too, caught attention. But it wasn't just a political moment. It became a cultural one. In town halls and community centers, people began talking not about party lines, but about values, about respect, about listening, and most of all, about the power of words not to wound, but to wake people up. Kennedy, in his usual drawl, summed it up best in a later interview. "Some folks like to set fires. I just want to light a candle." That one line, like the one he delivered on stage, didn't just stun the nation. It reminded it who it could be. Asterisk, and in a world too often divided by shouting matches and sound bites. One man's sharp honesty and unexpected grace carved a moment of unity that lingered long after the microphones turned off.